Denmark's qualification for their fourth World Cup finals was a superb achievement. Martin Olsen's side were far from favourites when the draw for the group stages was made. Paired with much-fancied Portugal and near neighbours Sweden, few expected Denmark to finish atop Group 1. But that's exactly what they did. The Danes lost just one of their 10 qualification matches, that coming in their final group game when qualification was already assured. Their campaign began back in September 2008. A 0-0 draw in Hungary hardly set pulses racing, but a point gained was a positive start. If the stalemate in Budapest had been forgettable, Denmark's next game would prove to be anything but. A terrific 3-2 win against Portugal in Lisbon was arguably the pivotal moment in Group 1 and instilled a sense of belief in the Denmark squad that a place in South Africa was theirs for the taking. The home side took the lead 3 minutes before half-time when Nani tapped in from close range. It seemed for a long time that it would be the only goal of the game, but 6 minutes from the end, Niklas Bentner drew Denmark level, cutting in from the edge of the box and firing into the bottom corner. Portugal restored their advantage when Deco converted from the penalty spot 2 minutes later, but Denmark refused to accept defeat. With just seconds of normal time remaining, Daniel Jensen swung over a corner, which was met by Christian Poulsen. He powered his header beyond Kim in the Portugal goal. A draw would have been an excellent result for Denmark, but they made sure of a first ever competitive win against Portugal in the second minute of stoppage time. Jensen tried his luck from distance and saw his effort take a huge deflection off Pep to find the net and seal a famous win, handing Portugal their first defeat in World Cup qualification since 1996. That meant Denmark were one of 3 teams on 4 points after 2 games. There then followed successive 3-0 wins against Malta. The Søren Larsen brace and Daniel Agger's penalty did the damage in what was Denmark's final qualifier of the year. When the campaign resumed in March 2009, Denmark again cruised to victory against the Maltese, earning a 3-0 win. They then secured a hat-trick of 3-0 wins when they beat Albania in their next qualifier. Denmark's next big test came against a familiar foe, with a trip to Sweden in June. It was to prove another away day success for Olsen's men. Kim Karlström missed an early penalty for the hosts, and a 1-0 win for Denmark came courtesy of Thomas Karlenberg's 22nd minute goal. Pouncing on a dreadful clearance from Michael Nielsen, Karlenberg reacted quickest to slot the ball beyond Andreas Isaksson and secure all 3 points. 2 draws in the space of 4 days then followed. 1-1 at home against Portugal was followed by the same score in Albania. That meant Denmark were top of the group with 18 points from 8 games, 3 ahead of nearest rival Sweden, who visited Copenhagen in the penultimate qualifier. Denmark knew that a win could secure their place in the World Cup finals, whilst the visitors were similarly desperate for the points. Their qualification hopes were very much in the balance. A typically tense 90 minutes were to follow. Sweden had 2 goals disallowed in the space of 3 second-half minutes. Denmark steadied themselves and made the breakthrough 12 minutes from time. It came from an unlikely source as Jakob Poulsen registered his first international goal and his first start of the qualification campaign. The final whistle sparked scenes of delirium amongst players, staff and fans alike. Denmark had qualified for just their 4th World Cup finals against the odds and with a game to spare. A 1-0 home defeat to Hungary in the final group game ended Denmark's hopes of finishing the campaign unbeaten. In truth, no one in the Danish camp was too concerned about the result. After such an impressive showing in qualifying, Denmark are full of confidence and ready to cause a surprise or 2 in South Africa.
England will be appearing in their 4th successive World Cup finals in South Africa after finishing top of Group 6 and as the highest scoring European side. The appointment of Fabio Capello proved a masterstroke. Under the guidance of the astute Italian, England qualified with 2 games to spare. England began their campaign in Barcelona with a match against the minnows Andorra. Though hardly sparkling, England produced a workmanlike performance to claim a 2-0 win. Joe Cole with both the goals. 4 days later, England stunned Croatia by claiming a sensational 4-1 win in Zagreb. Theo Walcott hit a hat-trick. Croatia couldn't handle his pace or his finishing. Wayne Rooney also found the net as England ended Croatia's unbeaten record in home qualifiers in emphatic fashion. A double-header in October rounded off 2008 for England and saw Wayne Rooney excelling under Capello's guidance, rapidly becoming the focal point of the England team. Once again, he showed his potency with 2 goals as Kazakhstan were thrashed 5-1 at Wembley. England then made the long journey to Minsk to face Belarus. A 3-1 success came courtesy of Steven Gerrard's opener and another Wayne Rooney brace. England had ended 2008 by creating a piece of history. This was the first time they'd won their opening 4 World Cup qualifiers, a feat which saw them top of Group 6 and halfway to South Africa. 6 months later, the campaign resumed with a home match against the Ukraine. 1-1 with 5 minutes remaining, a captain's contribution from John Terry restored England's lead and ensured the 100% record remained intact. England then made another lengthy trip, this time to Almaty, where Kazakhstan were again given the treatment by Europe's leading scorers. England won 4-0, including a rare goal for Emil Heskey. The much-maligned frontman had been recalled to the side by Capello after a prolonged absence and had formed a successful partnership with Rooney. A 6-0 hammering of group-whipping boys Andorra was next. That made it 10 goals without reply in the space of 4 days. Once again, Rooney was twice on target. Results elsewhere in the group meant that England could secure qualification with the win against Croatia in September 2009. Slaven Bilic's side may have crumbled when the teams met in Zagreb earlier in the group, but with the memory of Croatia's win at Wembley, which saw England miss out on Euro 2008, fresh in the memory, revenge was very much on the agenda for Capello's side. Few could have predicted what was to come. England produced a scintillating display to obliterate Croatia 5-1. Early goals from Lampard and Gerrard put England on their way. 3 goals in the second half saw qualification achieved in style, and England's chances of success in South Africa were already on the national agenda. Capello had transformed England from an inconsistent team that never came close to achieving its potential under Steve McLaren to a well-organised and ruthless outfit who were scoring goals for fun. Sadly for England, their hopes of a fault-free campaign were ended with a 1-0 defeat in Ukraine. Robert Green was sent off early on, and the 10 men could find no way through against the Ukraine side desperate for the points that would help them to a playoff place. The campaign did finish on a high though, with a 3-0 win against Belarus in the final game. That gave England a total of 27 points from a possible 30, 6 clear of second place Ukraine. Their tally of 34 goals was the best of any European side. Expectation always surrounds the England team ahead of major tournaments, but with the winning mentality instilled by Fabio Capello, there is belief within the squad that 2010 could be England's year.